Hi everyone, welcome back to my Python video. In this video we're going to look at processing Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. So we're going to use a third-party module in PyCharm and Python called Openpyxl. We'll bring that into our PyCharm, and this will allow us to open up Microsoft Excel files, take in the data and compare columns and rows and all the stuff that we do in Excel. But now with Python we'll be able to automate that. Before we can process Excel files, we need to download a third-party module. The module is called Openpyxl, and we need to import that library into our PyCharm. To do that, we go to the terminal. And this downloads the module. And once we're done, to confirm, we can type and run this, and if we don't get any errors, we can assume that everything is working. And that's it. The module is installed. So now that we've installed the module, we just need to test a spreadsheet. So I've created a spreadsheet here with two lists of random names. So list 1, list of names, list 2, list of names. I put some names from list 1 into list 2. So what I often had to do in Excel is get two lists and compare them and see what items were repeated in both columns. So like I said, it's a common task in Excel, and we're going to do that with Python. So to do that, first of all, we'll load the spreadsheet. We'll create a variable called workbook equal to openpy.load workbook. And we simply need to put the name of the file in here. I copied the file in under the project, so it's just the name of the file. Then we need to create the sheet on the file. So that the format for that is sheet equal to workbook active. So the active workbook sheet is the one we're going to use. There's only one worksheet in the workbook that we've selected here. But if there were more, this would be the active we would pick. Next thing is we want to create a list of the column. So list A would equal to the column value, col value for a call in sheet A. So we're going to go to the sheet and go through to the list A, the column A, and we're going to take all the names from this list. So that's the format. This is list comprehension, which we learned back in lists. It's a quick way to create a list without actually using the append command. It's simply call value for each item in the column in sheet A, bring it into the list. And Openpyxl will automatically end the list once the values end. So this will be a list of what we have. And we'll do the same for the other list. We'll call it list B. This is for column C in our list. And we can actually verify that we're pulling the information from the spreadsheet by doing a for loop. And when we run that, we should get a list, and there we go. We can even change this to A and verify the list A as well. So we are getting the two lists from the spreadsheet. So a handy way to compare both of these lists, now that we've taken them from the spreadsheet, would be to have another list. Match items is search for X in list A, if X in list B. So this should get the difference or the common names in both lists. So now when we print out the results of match items, we should get the names that are in each list. So run this. And there we go. These are the two names that are in both lists. You can double check, but either Frank and the other one is also there too. So now we want to take our list of match names and save it back to our spreadsheet file so that we can record it in a column. And we'll pick column E over here, and we want to save these names here. So if we, to do that, we type the next row. So we want the first row. Rows are integers. So row 1 is the first row in column 5, which is E. The column are noted by integers also starting at 1. So sheet cell, the cell that we're going to write to, is and cell is an attribute of sheet, which was defined up here. And row then the first row and the 5th column, and the value in the 5th column will be matched items. So first of all, we want to print the column header on the 5th row, which is row E. And next we want to run our for loop again on the matched items, which is the list of matched items. And the next row, which would be after the header, row plus 1, will print, just for the user's benefit of the program, saving now and the item that's being saved. This is to help the user know what is actually being saved. And then it's sheet cell, again, the same attribute of sheet. Row is equal to next row, which will be, in this case, the second row, same column, and the value will be I. So I will be out of matched items. So if we, and the last part is not to forget, save, because when you run this, you will not get an error. Everything will go okay, but the file will not be saved. And when you go to open it, you won't get your data. So that's a common mistake. When we run this now, we should be able to save our data to the spreadsheet. Keep in mind that you should close the spreadsheet if it's open. We had it open to look at the columns, but please ensure that it's closed before you run it. So when we run this, it tells us that it's saving row of the first name and saving row of the second. So we should have 2 names and a column header in our spreadsheet. And there we have the matched items and the 2 names saved. So this is a handy way of saving it to the list so we have it for future reference. This might not seem like much of an accomplishment to take 2 rows out of 2 columns out of Excel and compare them and put the 3rd column back in. But there is a tremendous potential here with files that you receive at work or home that are already in Excel. I've created a function here to give you an idea. You can send a file name to this function to do exactly what we just did. So you could process thousands of files the same way, and you can search through them for whatever you need and take action for whatever needs to be done on them. So the files can be 10 lines long or 100,000 lines long, it doesn't matter. So anyone that works a lot in Excel or has a lot of files that come from various data sources, this is a great way to process the files with a few simple lines of code. You would simply need to change the column numbers and the rows to whatever meet your need, but it's the same code to do the processing. So in the next video, we're going to look at taking a set of numbers, integers, from Excel and plotting them on a chart. And the reason we would do this, again, is if we had multiple files, or if we had a data source such as a weather channel or some website that provides data in CSV or Excel format, to take that in and automatically run through it and plot out the points on a chart to see trends and to see intersections of certain data. So this is why we would do that, as opposed to just going into Excel and creating charts in it. This is more to process multiple files and to do it in an automated way. We're going to use another third-party library called matplotlib to do that. So I'll put the code and the files from this video on my website at pythonforadultsandkids.com. If you like this content, please don't forget to subscribe and share it. And thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.